as I transform myself, my children will transform. Ilana will transform. The world will transform, one pebble at a time in the pond, concentric circles.
When I normally see Warrior Ric, he's standing next to the field and he goes, "Where's my soldiers at?"
And what's the response?
"Right here."
Woo, and that when I get that, woo, that's motivating the motivator.
How is it possible that as a dad, as a father of many, because we'll get to that, that when I see you, when I see Warrior Ric, when I see Ricardo, the first thing you say to me is that you're highly favored and blessed and happy and you always wish me well. And there's always capacity to be kind. Where does it come from?
Where does it come from? It comes from the joy that I have within. And I don't let anybody take that away from me, not even myself. So when I wake up in the morning, I make a decision. I choose to leverage that joy, to bring that joy out. So I'm not waiting for happiness. Happiness is external. When I say I'm blessed and highly favored, it doesn't mean that I'm having a good day. It doesn't mean that I'm even happy. But what it means is that's what I want. And that's what I want to get. So I'm a work in progress, and I'm always helping other people, I think, try to find that work in progress.
WarriorRic.co.za if you want to check out the guy, but we have him here at Parent and Baby Brunch, and what an honor it is to be able to chat to you today. How did you get the name Warrior Ric? Because I have not ever seen you without camo. Today you're wearing a shade of Calypso blue camo. Like that shirt, you can buy it nowhere else. It doesn't exist.
No.
Yeah, it only exists in Ricardo's wardrobe.
Correct. And it's going to be part of the Warrior Ric collection. Coming to a store near you.
How did you get the name?
The Warrior Race, 2013, January. Actually, just before that, 2012, the planning went in August 2012 for a Warrior Race, obstacle course racing, which is military boot camp in a peaceful time, right? Where folks can pay to go through the mud and climb over walls, freestanding walls, climb up ropes. And because it was called the Warrior Race, and I led it and led people in this arduous task of becoming soldiers, I called myself Warrior Ric, and they began to call me Warrior Ric too.
But you believe that because you've been stuck in the mud in your own life before. And I mean, it's February and people are tired and we feel guilty and we're exhausted. And as parents, we just want to feel our best. And that's why this conversation is called, you know, why we shouldn't feel like failures.
Yeah.
Paint a picture for me. I say you're a father of many because you're not just raising your own children. Take me back. So biologically, who makes you a dad?
So biologically, I have Maya Esperanza Grisel, and Esperanza means hope, by the way. And my hope is that I can have a reconciliation and rekindling with my daughter from the States. And my two children in South Africa are Romario and Kiara Cheyenne. So those are my three biological children.
How can we be better fathers? I mean, who taught you to be a father? How did you know? By the way, Warrior Ric is like 109. He's not as young as he looks. How old are you?
57. 56. I'm 57 yet. 56.
Okay. How long have you been a father for?
I've been a father for 27 years.
Okay. So who gave you the manual? Who told you what to do? How did you know what the right thing is to do?
From amazing men. I mean, as you were asking me the question, I was thinking Donald Martin, my neighbor, not in any particular order. My dad himself, who's still living, and I can't wait to see him in June at 97 years old for his birthday. Angelo Martin, who's my best friend, who's Donald Martin's son, and his brother, Jared Martin.
So these are ordinary people that you surround yourself with.
My neighbors, my coaches. I mean, you know, the thing is that although there's no template, there's an emotion, there's a way of being, there's a connection and energy that you find from other men as a father that you just admire.
Young fathers are so alone. they have this burden. Daar word so baie verwag van ons. There's so much that's being expected from them to now be a man and to be the dad and to be the support for your wife. What advice? I don't even want to call it advice. What do you say to the alone dad who is looking at you going, but he's so motivational and he loves God, and it looks like even I want his problems because it just looks so much better.
Making it look easy, huh?
Yeah.
Making it look easy because you don't see the blood, the sweat, and the tears.
Yeah.
And it goes back to being blessed and highly favored, setting your day up to know that God loves you and to know that everything's going to be all right. It may not be what you expected, so it's unpredictable. It may not be about it being a good day or a bad day. It just is. And, to a young father, I would say that, yeah, it's hard, but it's worth it. It's one of those things where, you still need to you're a young dad. Hello, you need to go through the trenches. You're going to need to do the work, the hard and meaningful work in order for you to be better. You see, the thing is that you're not doing it for your children. You're doing it for you. Now, think about it in terms of a young dad who maybe doesn't even have the mother involved. Maybe he's a lone dad. He's got to come first. The wife is not even there. There's not even a wife. There's a mother, and maybe the mother's not available. Maybe the mother's decided not to be part of the parenting.
So you're saying that it's all about making sure that you're a good individual so that you can be a good parent for your children, basically?
I wouldn't use the word good because it's subjective when we say good. I would say whole. I would say that it's important for individuals to find the love and the joy within and stop looking for it in the media, stop looking for it in other people's lives. Yeah. Find it in yourself. And there are many, many tools you can use, and I share this often with people. The way to find it is, well, first of all, you need compassion. That's a tool. Compassion of yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Find the joy within, which I talked about. Find love. These are words that should be a creative force in you so that you can begin to live it. That as I transform myself, my children will transform. Ilana will transform. The world will transform. One pebble at a time in the pond, concentric circles. Inspire, motivate, and transform. That is my brand. It's not so much a commercial brand as we understand branding.
I understand.
It's a personal brand, and I decided that I would make it a point to use those three aspects of two factors that would give me the ergo around transformation.
Someone put it beautifully the other day. She said, stop doing these Facebook posts about scripture. Start living it.
Hello.
So
faith plus work is where you get good success. Faith without work is dead.
Yeah. 10,000 hours is what they say people need to become an expert, right? Is there anything in fatherhood that you wish you knew sooner?
Is there anything that I wish I would have known sooner? I think, for me, fathering and fatherhood is an on-the-job training. That if you work too hard to try to accumulate, hours and knowledge of reading books. I can remember the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting.
Yeah.
And I love that book because I was fascinated by it, even though it was more geared towards the mother. I love the fact that I could get involved from my feminine side of understanding the changes and the physiological changes that would go through in a womb and with the mother. But it didn't necessarily help me with fatherhood. I mean, what helped me with fatherhood is actually changing diapers. What helped me with fatherhood is, taking walks with my children, answering questions, helping them with math. And I think that, we spend a whole lot of time trying to be our best through other people when sometimes you just got to get in the trenches and get in the grind and do it. Don't worry about how many hours you got in terms of trying to prepare for something theoretically, get into the practical.
We did a podcast not too long ago. It's called Seuns Sonder Pa's. It means sons without fathers. And we talked a lot about the notion of the absent father and, a whole community of young men that are being raised by mothers and how different men can tap into their lives in order to help raise them and to make them better men. How can men in South Africa become better mentors to themselves and to men around them, to the sons that they have and that they don't have?
The first thing that when I hear absent father or deadbeat dad or whatever names we have, I'm sure there's some Afrikaans words of dads that just don't stick it out, I can only point to myself first. When I think about my move to South Africa in that period between 1994 and 1999, I had to make a difficult decision. And I thought I could father 2 children on 2 different continents, in America and in Africa, and it didn't work out. And the fallout was the fact that I had to leave, didn't have to leave. What ended up happening was the fact that Maya Esperanza, my hope, got left behind. And you know very well that in my Warrior Ric speak, I talk about no soldier gets left behind. So for my sins, I have lots of children that I look after that are not my own in terms of biological, but there are no steps and there are no half brothers, sisters, or children. So the lesson that I've learned in absenteeism is that it takes a village to raise a child. That my brother, my sister, my mom, God rest her soul, my dad, family members have helped to look after Maya, and she's exceptionally balanced. She's an exceptional child. I lose the benefit of sharing the joy with her, and we will reconcile one day. That's my prayer. But with what I have in South Africa, I have more than enough, not only to give, but to receive. And so I would tell any absent father to make amends with your child, as I'm trying to do, and to help those fathers who need your help. That it's okay that you yourself may be absent and may have been absent in your teenage years because it was a teenage pregnancy, or perhaps you were in prison. I've spoken to men in prison who are absent because they got a sentence to play out. Still, you can still be a father. You can be a father to grown children who need you. And I think that kindness that we talked about in the beginning is where we need our fathers to go. They need to find in themselves perhaps what they were missing and what they couldn't give their own biological children, so that absenteeism can be a thing of the past. It is certainly one of the biggest ills in our society. It leads to gender-based violence. It leads to school discrepancies, substance abuse. It's not the only thing, but God knows, I mean, it was meant to be mother and father, not just mother and go-go. And oftentimes I think it's just too much pressure is put on the male, on the male and the female, and the male is ostracized and feels like he's not part of the family. And you know, my dad, not my dad person, but hypothetically, dads feel like they don't have to be part of the equation because the mothers will take care of it. Isn't that what mothers do? They take care of children. And I think we need to stop that narrative in its tracks and start recognizing that dads can change diapers, dads can do dishes. It looks like our boys can get out there and clean the yard. They can also help to look after their younger brother and sister. And hopefully, as they get older, they recognize the beauty of parenting as a father. And it's not just left up to the female.
We all have an opportunity to feel different things about ourselves. And so we're in the month of February. There's a lot of love talk and, you know, everyone is in the full swing of school. We started extramurals on our side. You know, we grade R-ing and we matricing, and I've got 4 kids and, you know, we're going, and you've got 100. How many babies are you taking care of? About 5.
I counted before the show, and I was trying to get the number right. But I mean, it's like 12 children babies that I've raised since infancy that I've raised.
The youngest is 3, by the way. So he might be 56.
Hey, but we keep it moving, eh?
When are you turning 57?
6th of April.
Okay, we'll wish you. Speaking of which, I want you to help us as parents just to navigate with this one. Because when you shout, "Where are my soldiers at?" and we say, "We're right here," we want to show up, right? And some of us feel like failures, like we just can't get there. Yet we all have problems, right? We choose our own. And even you, on your journey to completion as a motivational speaker, and probably the most positive person that I know, is is talking about how our lives make us vulnerable, how we have that moment where things are just too much. Yeah. How can we attempt the rest of this year, of this week, of this month, of this day?
Nelson Mandela said something that helps me to keep going, and maybe in love in this month, this will help the listeners, especially our parents, and that is that you can never lose. You either win or you learn. So we have got to get to a point where we say there is not a thing called a good or bad day. It is a day for me to celebrate, to give thanks, and to rejoice. And goodness gracious, I will learn something today because I'm going to try. And in the formula of success, I try, I fail, I try. And those little successes I get are enough to keep me going. So try love in its fullness and in its God definition, and then recognize that you're not a failure, that you're a work in progress, that you're incomplete, and that you're learning.
You are a joy.
Oh, thank you.
The world needs you, bruh. Like, it is an honor knowing you. And I want to thank you for inspiring so many moms and dads.
You're welcome. And I hope that more people will share kindness because I need it too.